This is Shutters Inc. with Bruce Williams and Glyn Lavender.
Hi, and welcome to episode 540 of Shutters Inc. This is Bruce Williams from shuttersincpodcast.com. And the breach of copyright is coming from none other than Mr. Glyn Lavender of creativephotoworkshops.com.au.
That's a special treat for anyone doing Whamageddon and have not yet been Whamageddoned.
Right, okay.
You weren't expecting to get it here, were you? Well, if you're doing your Whamageddon...
Excellent.
That's the last Christmas to listen to this podcast. You know, for those not aware of what Whamageddon is trying to avoid for the entire month of December up until Christmas Eve the song Last Christmas by Wham.
Right.
And if you hear it, it's bang, you're out. So,
right. And what's the Mariah Carey equivalent?
It's all I want for Christmas is a Jew or something.
But there must be a term for trying to avoid that song.
No, I think it's something about Jesus because he was a Jew.
Right.
So I'm not. True story, not the story, but anyway, that he was a Jew if he existed, and you know all that stuff.
Yeah.
For all those religious folk out there of any persuasion, probably not the best place to come to. Do you know what I found out today?
What did you find out?
The stupidness of our world. Okay.
Oh, you're just catching up.
Have you ever heard of Stonehenge?
Yes, once or twice. Yeah.
Okay. Stonehenge isn't a henge.
What is a henge?
Well, a henge, apparently, from the guy who coined the term, who named it after Stonehenge, is basically an enclosure that has a raised mound around the outside, and on the outside a ditch, and then the stuff inside, like the stones or whatever's inside this round. So it's a round mound. That's a good word to say. A round mound with a round ditch on the outside. Only problem is Stonehenge's ditch is on the inside.
Right.
So he took the term henge from Stonehenge, came out with a precise definition, which excluded Stonehenge from being called a henge.
Right.
I mean, it's just like that's just the world. It's just in a nutshell.
Yeah.
If you could, yeah. It's just so stupid. So anyway, I thought that was quite amusing. I've been listening to a podcast of ours called The Prehistory Guys.
Okay.
Which, if anyone has an interest in that kind of stuff, they're kind of
cool.
good. They have a fabulous YouTube documentary goes for about a couple of hours called "Standing with Stones."
Right.
And once again, if you're interested in that sort of stuff, you'll love it. It's fabulous. And they go to like 100 odd standing stone sites in England and Ireland and Scotland and Wales.
Oh wow!
And it's fabulous. Just two guys made their own movie, and brilliant.
So sounds interesting. I will check that out.
If you like that stuff, Standing with Stones.
So, as Glyn alluded, this will probably be our last episode for 2022.
If you're really lucky.
Simply because we can't wait for the year to be over.
I'm thinking it's the whole decade, frankly, Bruce. I was just thinking the other day, because like 2019 was okay. I enjoyed 2019.
It was the last good year.
Exactly. But 2021, 22, it's the decade. People go, it's been a bad year. No, I'm thinking the decade's frankly, I think we're on a I was going to say on a highway to hell, but that reminded me. There's a stairway to heaven, but there's a highway to hell, which sort of shows the anticipated numbers.
Yes, that's right. Yes. So, how's your last couple of weeks been?
Well, I've actually been taking some photos.
What?
I know, colour me stupid. I've been taking my camera out. Of course, I must. You're going to get rusty a bit.
Of course.
I drove an hour in peak hour traffic to take some photos on Monday, just gone.
Oh, so based on the big build, that means you probably went about 3 blocks.
No, I did about 20k.
Oh, okay.
So it took about an hour and 10.
Right.
Got there, flat battery.
Oh.
Forget to check these things, Bruce.
Yeah. Right.
So I drove home, put the battery on charge, and went again the next yesterday.
All right.
Like, oh, God.
And what were you out taking photos of?
Well, I've been taking photos of my footy team.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I've been going down to training, checking out all the new boys that just been drafted in.
Yep.
Got the big 150 to 600 out.
Nice.
So I'm a member of a footy page, a footy group called Footy is Life and Nothing Else Matters.
Yeah.
So they're fairly into their footy, but they're predominantly a North Melbourne page.
Yep.
And it's the only place on the interwebs where it's intelligent football talk and connection, because there's no craps allowed, no insults, no bagging out players, no insulting clubs or other clubs, no insulting other members of the group. If you do, you get booted.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so it's actually a place where mature people have knowledgeable conversation, and you have to agree with the opinions, but it's how you treat people.
Yep.
You don't agree. It's like the world from like the 1990s or something. I think it's like
before the internet.
Before the internet. Yeah, when people are allowed to have another opinion, even, and I stress this, Bruce, even if you didn't agree with them.
Yeah. Wow.
They were allowed to have an opposing view. Doesn't matter how stupidly wrong they are. They were allowed to have it.
Yeah.
You know?
There's another world entirely.
Yeah, so it's quite a pleasant place to be. So I've been out 3 times in the last 2 weeks, but only shot twice. Funny enough, slight lack of battery on that the other time. But it's quite it's a very different genre to try and photograph.
I haven't seen you posting any of these images on social.
No, because there's exclusive content for
I was going to ask if that was the case,
Well, it doesn't have to be. I mean, I could post them, but I don't know if anyone's actually interested.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And of course, I'm shooting with a camera that's not designed to shoot sport. I'm shooting with 5Ds, which are at best, 1.5, 2 frames a second, which is, it requires a lot more preemptive timing of moments.
Sure.
Because once you see the moment, by the time you press the button, the moment's
gone.
At the same moment. At the very least. So, but that's been enjoyable.
Nice.
Photographing fast moving objects. Yeah, the players and fast moving objects with unpredictable movement.
Yep.
At any time they could go left, right, forward, stop, jump up in the air, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm being pleasantly surprised with my success rate as far as at least in focus and sharp.
Okay.
Yeah, not always the perfect framing.
So how old's the 5D now? That must be 10 years old?
No, it's 5D Mark IV. So
right, gotcha.
It's 4 iterations. It's still the current model if they're still making it.
Right.
The current iteration. It was just never designed to be a speed beast.
So it'd be 3 years old maybe?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
I think I've had it for 3 years, yeah.
Surely it does higher than 2 frames a second.
No. Well, not that I'm sure. There might be a mode.
There might be something in the instruction manual that I haven't read.
I've got it on the little multi-box, but it doesn't have multi-boxes with H, though, so maybe I'll have to look a bit harder. Yeah,
I was going to say, it'll have more than one multi-frame rate. There'll be a low, medium, and high, surely.
Well, no, I think Canon's at most only had 2.
Oh, okay.
Right. But I may be on the lower one. I may not have. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
So I'm going to go down again next week, so I might have to pursue the chance of actually shooting. But at the same time, it's not a bad thing to challenge yourself. Maybe even to shoot on single frame.
Yeah.
And to be honest, totally. I'm not shooting burst anyway. I'm not shooting. It's extremely rare that I take more than one photo when I'm following for quite a bit.
Yeah.
But I tend to mostly only shoot one frame.
Right. Yep.
So I'm not really shooting multiple. And I think the most I've shot, and that probably only a couple of times, would be maybe 3 frames in the sequence.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But it's more like shoot, keep following, shoot, and shooting individual moments as close as I can, rather than pull out the best out of that bunch.
Yeah.
Because there's still only certain elements that I want to photograph, and there's certain players that I want because they're new. You want to sort of capture images of the new guys, so the people who are interstate or overseas or can't get down to training get to see the new guys in action, sort of stuff.
Yep.
I even sent some of the photos to some of the new guys on Instagram just last night, and check this for a response from one of them. Nothing. Absolutely zip. Yeah, yeah. Little bastards active right now. One of them, One of them. There's me photographic proof.
Oh, yep. He's holding his mobile up to the camera. Yeah.
I'll tell you. I'll shoot through one of the pics that we can use for our thumbnail for this week.
Beautiful. That would be awesome.
But I'm enjoying it, and you get to chat to other fans while you're down there. I try and avoid them because I'm not much of a people person, but they come up and want to chat anyway. So, I met a lovely old lady called Jen. Well, not old, she's probably 5 years older than me. Lovely lady called Jen yesterday who's got osteoporosis.
Right.
And she's just recovered from breaking both her legs and her back.
Oh, there you go.
That's a bit of a tough thing, yeah. So it doesn't matter. And I was saying I was at the hospital today for my first rehab visit, and talking to one of the guys who was dealing with me, and to say, look, everyone's got a story at the moment. It seems like this 3 years has been so impactful on so many people that every single person seems to have something fairly significant going on in their lives.
Yeah, right.
A friend of a friend just this week told me that their 11-year-old wrote them all suicide notes. It's just every single thing is just everywhere. Life is, and so maybe we need to go a bit easy on everybody, even Republicans, if you're in America.
Yeah,
it's just so much stuff going on in people's lives that you just can't judge anything by the cover at the moment, Yeah. From the outside, everyone looks like they're doing okay, and then bang,
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyway, so I've been taking photos, and
awesome.
and I've got to say, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the process of going out, shooting, and coming home and loading them up and viewing them, and a bit of cropping.
Excellent.
I don't normally crop photos.
Okay.
Because when I shoot with intent. I'm at time. And 150 to 600 is quite a bit harder to handhold. With the fast move to get your framing exactly the way you want. Yeah. So I've been a little cropping, which is kind of nice. And
I think the other side of that, like in your defence, also is that the type of photography you normally do is quite staged.
Oh yeah,
where this is very spontaneous.
Yeah.
So
not only is it spontaneous, it happens really just rang like that, right in front of you.
That's exactly.
And you don't even know what's going to happen, Bruce. You don't even know what's going to happen. Well, you can kind of guess, but you're never sure.
That's right.
All the time.
If only they just hang in the air just that little bit longer, so you could frame it right.
I know. Wait, hold that. Smile.
Stay there.
Don't move.
Lift your chin just a little bit to the left.
Look at the light. Look at the light. So it's kind of, because it's been a long time since I've shot any regularity. So it's just kind of been nice to get out and just do that. So
excellent.
So that's been nice. And what's your 2 weeks been like? Anything exciting?
It's been lots of exciting.
Really?
So first up, I will
I'm
mention.
not sure we can allow that.
You remember ages ago I did a shoot in the vineyards with a blue Ford Escort and a model named Tammy?
No.
And I know that you do, because I called the shoot a wheelie grape time and you gave me hell for it.
I guarantee I don't remember that bit. I vaguely remember the shoot. Yeah.
So anyway, I reached out to that girl, Tammy, who I've not spoken with in 2 or 3 years since we did that shoot.
Yeah.
Simply because she kind of went dark on social media. I sort of lost
dealing with you.
Well, maybe lost contact with her. I re-established contact and reached out and said, "Hey, would you be interested in doing something again?" And she said, "Absolutely, would love to."
Did she see the photos?
Yes, she did.
Okay,
she did, and so we're hoping to get something happening over the next month of doing a shoot together. So that's one thing.
So you've done Red Riding Hood. You've done a blue car in vineyards.
Yeah.
What's your next cliche? Let me see. Graffiti lined alleyway.
No. Keep going. You're not far from it.
You've done the red autumn leaves.
Yeah.
It's not autumn anyway. So summer's coming out. Beach.
Yeah.
Mind you, it's snowing down here today, so
Right.
dead serious. It snowed up in the hills.
Is that
this
right?
morning. It was only 10 degrees when I went out to the hospital. You know?
Yeah, right. Wow.
We had 36 degrees the other day and snow today. It's bizarre.
Right.
So
No,
so
she's
with rocks.
yes.
Yes, at sunset. Sunrise.
Maybe I don't know yet.
Yeah,
I'm going to try my hand because she's keen at some fine art nude stuff.
Oh, good stuff. Yeah. So you're nude, and she's going. What's she wearing? Guaranteed way to get some funny expressions on your model face.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah? So yeah, that's the intent.
Are you doing it in a tent?
No, we're not doing it in a tent.
Do you know you can't run through a campsite? You can only ran.
What?
You can't run through a campsite. You can only ran.
Okay, I'm missing it.
Because it's past tense.
Of course. Yeah, so that's what we're working towards that.
And when's that going to happen?
Don't know yet, because I've only got a couple of weeks before Kath and I fly to Darwin for Christmas.
Oh, nice.
So we're spending a week up there with Max, and then when I come back, I'll have another week of holiday, but for probably 3 or 4 of those days, I'm going to head up to Dave's place. We're going to do some recording because his cousin is out from Canada. Dave's cousin. And
is that what the album's going to be called?
He's a really good blues player.
Really?
Yeah, he's been getting a fair bit of attention over there, and he's released a couple of his records on vinyl and played some gigs in New York City with some reasonable, names.
So if I look up on iTunes Dave's cousin, will it come up?
No, but if you look up C.J. Lee, you might find him.
C.J. Lee, as in Leigh?
No, just Lee.
Oh, so
Chris Lee.
Chris Lee.
So we're going to. I'm going to head up to Dave's and we're going to do some recording for a few days there. So somewhere around all of that, hopefully Tammy and I will find a time and a place to go and do some shooting. But the other exciting news.
There's more. But wait, there's more.
There's a free set of steak knives.
Woo-hoo.
The position for the Ops Co-Ord was advertised internally for ABC Newcastle.
Yes.
And
who got it?
Me.
Oh, really?
Yes.
even after you worked there?
Even after I'd worked there. So what that means
you're
now...
You're gainfully employed?
Well, at least for 6 months.
Oh,
I have a 6-month contract from the 9th of January through to June 30. And I'm backfilling for, the same guy that I've been backfilling for since April of this year. Probably by around April of 23, he will know whether or not the role that he, by then, will have been doing for 12 months is either going to become a permanent position or whether it's going to get wrapped up and he'll have to return to his substantive role. So at that point, I will then know either I'm going to have ongoing work or I'm not.
Yeah.
So obviously, he and I are both hoping that the role that he's currently doing will become a permanent thing, and that he will, get to keep that as a full-time job. And because I've now sat, the official recruitment interview, if that happens, they can then just direct appoint me into the role and carry on forever. So so pretty excited about that.
Good on you, mate. Well done.
Yeah, thank you. There's two things I'm really excited about. Is one, obviously having a full-time income again will be nice because it's been over 12 months since I had a full-time job. And the other good thing about, as much as I love working part-time, the good part about going back into this role 5 days a week will mean I'll actually have a chance to make it my own and, really get some things done. I feel like 2 days a week, there's only so much you can achieve.
Yeah, and there's only so many bins you can empty in those times, and you probably can't even get to clean the bench tops down properly.
That's right. So
the kid doesn't let him go about the coffee cups.
yeah. So looking forward to it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. And when will you find out? 6 months, you say?
Well, probably by
That's
around
something
April.
back
Around
Okay.
April, we should know whether or not he's got an ongoing role in this.
Do you have a kind of a feel for the percentage, the chances?
I think the chances are pretty high that he will end up with an ongoing role, and
Nice.
that will be good for me. That may be just my wishing it to be so, but I do genuinely think there is a pretty good chance that it will happen. Yeah, he's working on a podcast project for the ABC, and it's been doing really well.
That helps. Right?
Yeah, and just got featured in Apple's top 25 podcasts. So that's
that means shit all, dude. We've been featured in some tops as well.
so yeah.
That has a detrimental effect on our listeners.
So yeah, who knows? So anyway,
Awesome.
Yeah.
Just thinking about your mate CJ Lee.
Yeah.
Do you remember the Far Side cartoons?
Yes.
Your mate Dave,
Yeah.
Dave's cousin,
Yeah.
should record the blues song that was in the Far Side cartoon, but it was actually called The Greens. Okay, so it was a frog singing, "My baby done left my lily pad, my legs are both deep fried, and when I die, they'll put me in formaldehyde. I got the greens so bad." I reckon you should sing that and add to it.
Right.
Come on, it could be an internet sensation.
It could. Like chocolate rain.
Chocolate rain.
Don't ask. Just go and search for it on YouTube.
I'm going to Google up chocolate rain. Yeah, I don't think so, Tim.
It's not what you think.
I'm going to private browser before I do that. So stuff up my internet history like you wouldn't believe.
Since 2005, Shutters Inc. has been a labour of love. But beyond the time required to produce it, there is also a financial commitment. If you find value in the podcast and would like to help keep the servers running, hit up the Patreon link, which is in the show notes. Even a couple of dollars a month will help. Much appreciated. Now, back to the podcast.
What do we have to talk about today? Any exciting?
We got a couple of stories from Paul Sutton this week.
We've got squad all.
That's
so
exactly right.
We'd be finishing up now.
Now, the first one comes from alpinemag.com.
Okay.
And I've got to say, I had a flick through this before we started recording. And I kind of went, really? You spent all this time and effort to write this, 5,000 word essay, however long it is, I haven't counted, to include all these photos and to mark up all the photos, all to prove that somebody who got, their 15 minutes of fame on the internet for some snow leopard photographs were doctored. I was like, really? You went to all this trouble just to rain on somebody's parade? Like, I don't know.
It's nice graphics.
So it turns out that this woman, Kittia Pawlowski,
Easy for you to say.
took these photos of these snow
Or it could
leopards.
be Pavlovsky, like the dog.
It could very well be. And this Alpine Mag mob have gone and made this whole article about how these things were photoshopped and all the inconsistencies and how we identified this bit of the mountain that was stitched into that bit of the photo, and and how these snow leopards don't actually walk around on the snow because there's no prey and they stay below 5,500 metres, and these were shot at 6,300 metres. And it's like, guys, seriously, let it go.
It's interesting, though. I mean, her website's only got 4 photos on it.
Yes, which is
and
these...
Instagram's only got the same 4 photos. It's got over 50,000 followers.
Yeah.
The profile doesn't exist. It's bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah. And I kind of feel like we're at risk of going down the same rabbit hole by giving it airtime on the podcast.
But also, what does she stand to gain from it?
I don't know.
What do you? I don't get what you could possibly be getting out of it if you're not selling selling the images.
One of the sort of pull quotes in this story is Kitya Pavlovsky is an expert in Photoshop. Okay, so what? There's lots of photographers who are very adept at using Photoshop. It's not a big deal to be an expert in Photoshop.
Yeah.
You know, there are lots of people who are. So I was just kind of a little bit baffled as to why they went to so much effort for a blog post that is aimed only at, raining on someone else's parade. I was like, okay, interesting.
It's. I mean, if you're going to say this is fake, you may as well at least prove it. So I guess they've done that,
I suppose.
And it's kind of good. And I guess it also sort of points out, the depth some people will go to win a photo competition, and we've seen that in Australia in the past.
Sure.
And to maybe things to be aware of. It's an awareness thing. I've got to say, I kind of like the depth they've gone into just to really show just because it educated me.
Yeah, sure.
A lot of stuff too, and looking at and what they've done and why it's obvious and all that. Because she's on the front page of the Times.
Yeah.
I don't know who's getting paid for these images and stuff. But, but I did meet. Just speaking of snow leopards, I was on a plane to Myanmar once, sitting next to a lady and a man.
Sitting next to a snow leopard.
Sitting next to a lady and a man. They had a baby on her lap.
Right.
So this is going to be a fun trip. Yeah. And the baby was sort of fussing a bit just after takeoff, and they were trying to do some stuff. And so I said, "Give me the kid." Yeah. So I sort of got the kid, and I sort of entertained the kid for a while. We started chatting, and they were documentary filmmakers.
Right.
And one of the things was they just completed. I think they spent 12 months high up in the Andes filming snow leopards.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and their footage. I can't if I even remember who they are now, but their footage was fabulous. Yeah,
wow.
Unless it too was also adopted, but I'm not even sure if the kid was real. It could have been photoshopped. But yeah, they're amazing. The coincidence, the people you meet when you travel too. These incredible. They were based out of Delhi as well. Funnily enough,
Right.
So anyway,
yeah. So that kind of interested but baffled me at the same time. But it does dovetail into the other story.
But I would like to see that one on Peter Pixel though, or D Preview,
right?
Just so I can read the comments.
Yeah, of course.
So that's where they miss out on not having the comments.
The other story that Paul sent us was a story about this photographer, and the headline goes, "Photographer reveals the humble beginnings of his stunning images." And this is an entire blog post devoted to a guy who is very forthcoming about the fact that almost all of his images are massively photoshopped and created in post-production.
Right.
So it's kind of like the opposite of the previous story. And I don't know whether he was the first guy to ever, do this looking up through the building and seeing an aeroplane flying overhead thing or not. But yeah, that's one of his images, and a whole bunch of his other stuff, which is all, it's great stuff. Like the finished images look fantastic. But he is very open about the fact that, it's all photoshopped and it's all staged and whatever.
Yeah, fair enough too.
And and he said...
Tell you what, that mirror ball one is interesting because there's so many reflections of other people that get taken out, which is kind of interesting. But and again, just how many people get fooled into believing reality and believing what they see as opposed to what's actually going on in the photos. Yeah. Occasionally I'll post bad photos on the internet just to see the reaction. Oh, I love it. It's great. It was out of focus, dude. It's not even in focus. Yeah. What are you doing? Yeah. Or I'll just put my normal ones up and then they're bad enough as this. All right, cool. That was interesting.
So what have you got?
That was it. Well, first, I was just thinking of it because it came across in the article as I was flicking through it. Then, did you see the Orion spacecraft coming back past the moon?
No, I have not.
You should go look on YouTube. The close-up video as it passes the moon. But the best part was when it went from the light side into the dark side. Yeah. So you got to watch it go around that transition from light into dark. Was really cool. Yeah, so that was definitely worth a look. The only thing I've got this week, Bruce, the single one thing I've entitled "Dickheads." which I think is French.
Yeah.
But this is mostly because it's Australian. But somebody took a photo of a French bulldog.
Right.
And it led cops to a $54 million drug ring in Australia.
What?
So these guys, drug smuggler Danny Brown, that sounds like a fake name, if you ask me, using the handle Throw the Dice, was on some app called EncroChat, which I've never heard of.
No.
Some encrypted chat thing. But the police had infiltrated it, so they're watching what people are sending.
Right.
And he sent a photo of his French bulldog, Bob,
right,
to his mate, who's also his accomplice in this drug ring.
Right.
And the English police looked at the photo, zoomed in on the dog's collar where it had this guy's girlfriend's phone number.
Oh, wow.
Right. And of course, they'd seen all the other texts that had been going back and forward, talking about drugs and stuff. And then there was another photo where there was a reflection of himself in the television.
Yeah.
And then another photo of a reflection of him on a brass door handle. So they put together these images, the phone number, found out who they are in real life, as opposed to this encrypted thing, followed them, and they were caught trying to import $54 million worth of ecstasy into Australia.
Wow.
How it's just the technology the cops are using these days is quite amazing, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he got 26 years of jail. So it's the National Crime Agency they're tweeting. So probably not anymore since Elon's taken over. But a drug trafficker has been jailed for 26 years after helping investigators smash his own organised crime group by sending a photo of his dog on a encrypted communications platform showing its partner's phone number on the dog's tag. Well, don't tell the criminals how you're doing it, because they'll stop taking photos of their dogs.
Yeah, that's right.
They'll check for door handles. Don't tell them how you found out.
That is fantastic.
I thought it was kind of A, it was photo related. B, it was like kind of. Oh, there was one more thing. Hang
on. I love one of these comments. You'd be surprised just how careless even successful criminals can be. Makes one wonder how on earth they became successful. Sorry, what?
How did I get caught earlier?
Yeah.
Remember the last episode we were talking about the Neil Armstrong photo of it. The only full body photo of the moon was going up for auction. Well, the auction's just finished. Guess it's estimated. It was estimated to sell for between $20,000 and $30,000 US. Guess how much it sold for?
Oh, I'm going to say $1.5 million.
Didn't sell. Didn't make reserve.
Oh my God! Really? Wow.
But there's lots of other photos sold for like $3,000. It turns out it was an entire.
And yet, if somebody had scanned the photo and then sold it as an NFT, they would have got $1.5 million for it.
But it was actually a space photography auction. There was just for photos in space. There's stuff like the first image of the Earth as seen from the lunar landing orbiter.
Wow.
Was being up for sale. That sold for $4,080 US. But the highest price one was Buzz Aldrin took the first space selfie.
Wow.
So he's doing a selfie with the Earth in the background.
Nice.
It looks like he might be doing a spacewalk by the looks of it. That sold for $19,125 US.
Wow.
Which is still
that seems to me to be cheap for what that is.
It's not the only copy though, I guess. It's printed in its day.
Yeah.
And so, but I agree. I was a bit surprised, and I would have thought Neil Armstrong, just by how popular he is, it would have sold at least met reserve. If that's going for 19,000, you think Neil will get his 20 grand, but no.
Wow,
so that was it. That was all she wrote, my friend.
Excellent.
Hey.
Awesome. Well, another year bites the dust.
Yeah, thank God that one's over.
And you're still with us.
Well, I wasn't expecting to be, and as the hospital said this morning when I was in the rehab, drastic action plan required. So.
Right. And they're just telling you this now.
They're telling me 2 months later, yeah. Apparently the hospital, the surgeons put this down. They're going to tell me. I don't know. Just, how long be stupid? Communication's not a strong point, I'm thinking.
All right, so we're gonna wrap it up for the year with this episode.
Yes.
So you enjoy your Christmas and happy
You
New
too.
Year.
Have a great time in Darwin.
Thank you, mate. We will be roasting our socks off, I'm sure.
Yeah. Take some photos.
Yep.
Definitely. I think you're supposed to roast chipmunks, not socks around the
chipmunks.
Right. Chipmunks roasting on an open fire. That one.
Yeah, right.
You know,
okay.
you'll be roasting stuff, dude. Yeah.
Excellent. So, and we will talk with you sometime in January.
Looking after yourself, everybody. Be safe, and remember, this is working a treat.
Oh no.
Here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane. Vixen and Blitzen and all his reindeer are pulling.
Sounds like copyright infringement?
Yeah.
Is there still a copyright infringement if you talk over it?
Probably you could get away with it.
Oh, gosh. Gosh. All right, mate. Take care of yourself.
Yeah, same to you. And to all of our listeners, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And thank you for your continued listenership. And we will catch you in January.
We'll see the 6 of you next year.
That's right. See ya.
Bye.
I do just want to jump back in quickly and say that Glenn and I recorded this on Thursday afternoon. We normally record Thursday night. And as I was editing the podcast, I received a couple of emails from Paul Sutton who assumed we were going to record tonight. So I just quickly wanted to throw these little mentions into this podcast because, as Paul said, he expected that the episode we would record this week would more than likely be the last one for the year, and that is, of course, the case. So the first story he sent, or the first link he sent, was to CNN.com, and it is a blog post of 2022, the year in pictures. Now, there is a slideshow that runs at the beginning of the post, and that has some amazing photos in it, but I would encourage you to click on the little button that says read more, because it exposes the entire blog post, which is broken down by month, and it features a bunch of images within the blog post that are not part of the slideshows. So definitely take the time to have a look. There are some cracking images in there that have covered all of the news events over the course of 2022. The next one was never before seen photos of Crystal Night, the Nazi assault on the Jews in 1938. Yeah, I don't think there's much that needs to be said about that. The link will be in the show notes if you want to have a look at that. And the third link that he sent me was thousands of Australians strip for Tunic Cancer Awareness photo shoot. Spencer Tunic is a photographer who organised for 2,500 people to congregate on Sydney's Bondi Beach, stark naked, to have their photographs taken to raise awareness for skin cancer. It seems a little ironic, really, that but it was done first thing in the morning when, you know, the sun is not as deadly as it is in the middle of the day. So anyway, if you're interested in reading that story, those 3 links will be in the show notes as well. And thank you again, Paul, for your contributions over the course of the year. All right. Once again, thanks for your continued support, everybody, and we'll catch you in 2023.
You've been listening to Shutters Inc. For questions, comments, and feedback, email theboys@shuttersincpodcast.com.